A new bipartisan bill would require online platforms to crack down on fraudulent ads. X's open source algorithm does not seem to be a win for transparency. And Valve pushed back its Steam machine launch, and you can probably guess why. It's Thursday, February 5th, and here's a quick look at tech news this morning from Engadget. Without meaningful deterrence, big tech companies will do what's profitable regardless of the cost to consumers. But a new bipartisan bill could add a check that would make them think twice, at least in one area. On Wednesday, Senators Ruben Gallego, a Democrat from Arizona, and Bernie Moreno, a Republican from Ohio, introduced legislation that would require social platforms to crack down on scam ads. The Safeguarding Consumers from Advertising Misconduct, or SCAM Act, would require platforms to take reasonable steps to prevent fraudulent or deceptive ads that they profit from. If they don't, the Federal Trade Commission and state attorneys general could take civil legal action against them. Now, the backdrop to the SCAM Act is a Reuters report from last November. Meta reportedly estimated that up to 10% of its 2024 revenue came from scam ads. The company is said to have calculated that as much as $16 billion of its revenue that year was from scams, including fraudulent e-commerce and investment schemes, illegal online casinos, and the sale of banned medical products. Making matters worse, Meta reportedly refused to block small fraudsters until their ads were flagged at least 8 times. Meanwhile, bigger spenders were said to have accrued at least 500 strikes without being removed. Executives reportedly wrestled with how to get the problem under control, but only without affecting the company's bottom line. At one point, managers were told not to take any action that could cost Meta more than 0.0001% of its total revenue. According to the FTC and noted in the text of the bill, Americans' estimated total loss from fraud in 2024, adjusted for underreporting, was nearly $196 billion. An estimated $81.5 billion of that came from seniors. Gallego said, if a company is making money from running ads on their site, it has a responsibility to make sure those ads are not fraudulent. This bipartisan bill will hold social media companies accountable and protect consumers' money online. Moreno added, it is critical that we protect American consumers from deceptive ads and shameless fraudsters who make millions taking advantage of legal loopholes. We can't sit by while social media companies have business models that knowingly enable scams that target the American people. When X's engineering team published the code that powers the platform's For You algorithm last month, Elon Musk said the move was a victory for transparency. He wrote, "We know the algorithm is dumb and needs massive improvements, but at least you can see us struggle to make it better in real time and with transparency. No other social media companies do this." While it is true that X is the only major social network to make elements of its recommendation algorithm open source, researchers say that what the company has published does not offer the kind of transparency that would actually be useful for anyone trying to understand how X works in 2026. The code, much like an earlier version published back in 2023, is a redacted version of X's algorithm, according to John Thixton, an assistant professor of computer science at Cornell University. Thixton told Engadget, "What troubles me about these releases is that they give you a pretense that they're being transparent for releasing code and the sense that someone might be able to use this release to do some kind of auditing work or oversight work. And the fact is that that's not really possible at all." Predictably, as soon as the code was released, users on X began posting lengthy threads about what it means for creators hoping to boost their visibility on the platform. For example, one post that was viewed more than 350,000 times advises users that X will reward people who conversate and raise the vibrations of X. Another post with more than 20,000 views claims that posting video is the answer. Another post says that users should stick to their niche because topic switching hurts your reach. But Thixton cautioned against reading too much into supposed strategies for going viral, saying they can't possibly draw those conclusions from what was released. While there are some small details that shed light on how X recommends posts, for example, it filters out content that's more than a day old, Thixton says that much of it is not actionable for content creators. You will have to wait a bit longer before you can buy a Steam machine, and you may have to pay more for one as well. Valve had intended to release the console-style Steam OS-powered device early this year. And, in fact, AMD CEO Lisa Su just claimed that the company was on track to start shipping it soon. But in a new post detailing the latest updates for its upcoming Steam products, Valve has revealed that while it's still aiming to start selling the console in the first half of this year, it has yet to decide on concrete pricing and a launch date for it. The release of Valve's upcoming Steam Frame VR headset and controller will be delayed also. Valve had been hoping to announce pricing and launch dates by now. The company cited industry-wide memory and storage shortages, which have grown since the Steam device's announcement, as the culprit for the delay. It explained that it has to rethink their exact shipping schedules and pricing due to the limited availability and the rising prices of those components. As the Wall Street Journal recently reported, the AI industry has been hoovering up manufacturers' available memory chips and hard drives for its infrastructure developments. That has led to shortages for other industries like PCs and phones. Thanks for listening. There's more to these stories and more tech news at Engadget.com. This episode featured journalism from Will Shanklin, Carissa Bell, and Mariella Moon, and it was voiced and produced from the sound studios of Spoken Layer. Enjoy your day. I'll be back tomorrow with more tech news from Engadget.